July 1940. Lithuania. Nazi Germany had conquered most of Europe. Soviet forces had just occupied Lithuania. Jewish refugees from Poland were desperate to escape before borders closed completely. They gathered outside the Japanese consulate in Kaunas, Lithuania. Hundreds of people. Then thousands. They needed visas, official permission to travel through the Soviet Union to Japan and eventually to safety. Inside the consulate, Japanese Vice-Consul Chiune Sugihara faced an impossible decision. His government had denied permission to issue these visas. The official answer was no. For the next 29 days, Sugihara wrote visas by hand. 18 to 20 hours per day. He wrote until his hand cramped. He wrote as he prepared to leave Lithuania. He threw signed visas from the train window as he departed. He saved approximately 6,000 lives. And destroyed his diplomatic career. Chiune Sugihara was a Japanese diplomat stationed in Kaunas, Lithuania. He had spent years in the diplomatic service. He spoke Russian, German, and other languages. He understood international politics and followed orders. In July 1940, refugees began arriving at the Japanese consulate. They were Polish Jews who had fled the Nazi invasion. Some were from Lithuania itself. They needed transit visas through the Soviet Union to reach Japan. From Japan, they hoped to reach final destinations like the United States, Palestine, or other safe countries. The refugees had no other options. Nazi Germany controlled Western Europe. The Soviets controlled Eastern Europe and were about to close Lithuania's borders. Without transit visas, the refugees would be trapped. They would face deportation, concentration camps, or death. Sugihara cabled Tokyo asking for permission to issue the visas. The response was clear: no. The refugees did not meet the requirements. They had no destination visas. They had insufficient funds. Tokyo ordered him not to issue the documents. Sugihara understood what this meant. These people would die. His government was ordering him to refuse help that could save thousands of lives. He had to choose between his career and his conscience. Sugihara discussed the situation with his wife, Yukiko. They understood the consequences. Disobeying direct orders from Tokyo would end his diplomatic career. It might bring punishment or disgrace to his family. In Japanese culture, defying superiors carried enormous shame. But they also saw the refugees. Families with children. Elderly people. Desperate men and women who had lost everything and now faced death if turned away. Sugihara made his decision. He would issue the visas. All of them. As many as he could write. Starting in late July 1940, Sugihara began writing visas by hand. Each visa required careful documentation, names, details, official stamps, signatures. He worked 18 to 20 hours per day. The line outside the consulate never shortened. As word spread that the Japanese consul was issuing visas, more refugees arrived. Hundreds became thousands. Sugihara simplified the process to save time. He stopped verifying all the details. He wrote faster. His wife helped prepare documents. They worked through exhaustion. The Soviets ordered all foreign diplomats to leave Lithuania by a specific date. Sugihara's time was running out. Yet refugees kept coming. He continued writing visas until the final hours before departure. On the day he left Kaunas, Sugihara was still writing visas. He wrote them in the hotel room before checkout. He wrote them in the car to the train station. As the train departed, he threw signed blank visas through the window to refugees on the platform. According to witnesses, he bowed in apology as the train pulled away, apologizing that he could not save more. The visas Sugihara issued saved approximately 6,000 people. Refugees used them to transit through the Soviet Union to Vladivostok, then by boat to Japan. From Japan, many eventually reached safety in other countries. But Sugihara paid a price for his disobedience. When he returned to Japan after the war, the Foreign Ministry asked for his resignation. His diplomatic career was over. He had defied orders. He had embarrassed the government. In the rigid hierarchy of Japanese bureaucracy, this could not be overlooked. Sugihara worked various jobs to support his family. He did not speak publicly about the visas. The survivors scattered across the world did not know his name or how to find him. It was not until 1969, nearly 30 years after the visas were issued, that a survivor found Sugihara living in Tokyo. The survivor had kept his visa and used it to trace the name. He traveled to Japan to thank the man who had saved his life. Other survivors learned that Sugihara was alive. They began reaching out. They told him about their families, their lives, their children and grandchildren, all alive because he had written those visas. In 1984, Israel recognized Chiune Sugihara as righteous among the nations. It was one of the highest honors given to non-Jews who risked their lives to save Jews during the Holocaust. Sugihara was invited to Israel. Survivors came to meet him. They brought their children and grandchildren. One visa had saved entire family lines. Sugihara remained humble. He said he had simply done what anyone should do, help people in need. He had not sought recognition. He had not expected gratitude. Japan eventually acknowledged his actions as well. After his death in 1986, the Japanese government issued a formal apology for forcing his resignation. In 2000, the government honored his memory officially. Today, there are monuments to Sugihara in Lithuania, Japan, and Israel. His story is taught in schools. The Visas for Life, remembered as one of the most significant individual rescue efforts of the Holocaust. 29 days. 6,000 visas. 6,000 lives. Chiune Sugihara chose conscience over career. He wrote until his hand could barely hold a pen. And when he could no longer stay, he threw visas from a moving train. One diplomat. One choice. Thousands of lives saved. Thank you for watching.